Hey everybody, this is Denny from TDB bringing you guys InBetweenIsode number 36, I think. I'm not too sure. But today I wanted to talk about objectivity and subjectivity with taste. So it would make sense that 1 cup of tea, because of the oils and the minerals and all of the enzymes and the physical stuff in the cup, would necessarily produce a consistent flavor profile across the board for all subjects just trying to taste this tea. But in reality, it doesn't. Oftentimes, James and I will have different impressions of the same tea that we're drinking on the show, and we'll agree with certain aspects. Some parts of the tea that we're tasting won't really shine as much, and we won't be noticing it as much as the other person would, and vice versa. Maybe then a week later we come back to the same tea, and wow, I can really taste the plums this time. And so the subject, myself or you, is going to influence and have an influence on the objective thing itself, the tea. Now, that influence probably could be measured objectively, so I don't mean to make that into some sort of it just is all in your head claim. But for the instance, let's say, of cilantro, we know that there is genetic reasons that some people actually have the experience of cilantro tasting like soap, and it's based on their genes. And so a small handful of the population will really just dislike the flavor of cilantro in anything because it tastes to them like soap. And it's not a matter of their opinion, it just tastes like soap no matter what. Now, that being said, clearly there are commonalities and similarities that we can identify, not only with the flavor, but the texture, the color, etc. of the tea. But even those things can be influenced by things like, let's say you burn your mouth. You're not going to be able to taste or experience the texture quite as well. Or if you're colorblind, you literally, even though the color of the cup itself is objective, your inability based on subjective issues in your eyes will actually influence what the tea looks like. So an extreme example in the other direction would be, let's say that we have a chocolate bar, and I hand the chocolate bar to somebody and I say, what do you get out of this chocolate bar? What does it taste like to you besides just chocolate, right? Is it sweet? Is it bitter? Give me some adjectives. And they say, this tastes like a Greek salad, right? You're probably going to be like, okay, I don't know if it's just the genes here or if, there's some issue going on, but this is not a Greek salad, this is a chocolate bar. So that's kind of one, to one extreme, where a chocolate bar is going to be a chocolate bar, and you're not going to be able to colorblind cilantro gene issues interpret a chocolate bar into a Greek salad. But your daily experience of life will influence your ability to and flavor profile of the tea that you drink. And I just want to bring this up because sometimes for me, when I'm drinking tea, I really feel on. I feel like I can distinguish all of these little nuances, even in time, in real time, as they affect my as the effects of the tea drinking experience sort of come up and bubble up into consciousness, and I observe it. And I can kind of, annotate little aspects, little notes here and there as it kind of progresses through the experience of noticing the tea. But other days, I'm absolutely terrible. I had, burned my mouth the night before eating too hot of soup, and I'm groggy, and I'm not very focused and attentive at all anyway. So these things will have an influence. And I find it interesting that people will differ in their experience of tea, and that's just fine. It's not just the tea itself that is the measure of the flavors, but people also will have an influence. That being said, it ends up being the case that humans tend to have the same experiences of certain foods and beverages and so forth. We tend to be wired to be attracted to certain physical chemicals in these foods, like sugars, for instance. Most humans really crave sugar and sweet flavors and so forth. So there definitely is an undercurrent of a lot of similarity, of a humongous, 99% similarity, but there are these outlying cases, being in a weird, having it be a weird day for you, or having the cilantro gene issue. So this is a little tea musing. I find these kind of concepts interesting. It gives me a little bit more slack for myself when I'm drinking tea, and I'm like, ugh, I just don't know what's going on with this today. So maybe it gives you guys a little bit of slack too. But it is interesting as well to observe the commonalities, sort of the familial similarities within all these teas. And I think hopefully in normal episodes at tdb.org, check us out, subscribe, you'll notice that we have a lot more agreement than we do disagreement. But James and I will both notice different things, and those are perfectly acceptable things to notice. So this is Denny from TDB. Again, subscribe, like us, follow us on Periscope, Instagram, join our newsletter, comment, and until next time, guys. Cheers.